Hello, I'm the Badger Reborn, and today I'm going to respond to a shocking video made by the YouTuber Nae'Blis, where he suggests 3 controversial changes that the Amazon Wheel of Time TV show could make from the books. I've included a link to the video in the comments, but let's be honest, you probably already watched it. The third change is, whew! Nae'Blis, I'm sure you've heard of him, is the biggest by far dedicated Wheel of Time channel and consistently produces great content. And he's really been supportive of me starting my channel as well. So, really appreciate that. This video contains potential spoilers for the entire Wheel of Time series. I feel like it goes without saying, but if you care about not being spoiled on the Wheel of Time, you're probably not watching this video anyway. If you haven't finished the series, then give this video a like and subscribe, and then go read the books. Number 1.
My first suggested change comes with the character of Gawain Trakand and his arc throughout the story. Well, this is a fairly dramatic change to his arc, but I think it's one that will help him be a more relatable character and give the relationship with Egwene a little bit more weight. My suggestion is, rather than remaining in the tower after helping Min, Swan, and Lyanna escape, that he leaves with them and Loghain and travels with them to Saladar.
So my idea, this sounds totally great actually. I think Gawain's arc falls pretty flat. By the way, I don't actually have a problem with that the same way most people do, because people don't actually always have perfect arcs in real life. But the plotline of Gawain with the younglings is kind of boring and would mostly be a waste of time in the show, I think. This change allows Gawain to actually be part of the action, helps develop his relationship with Egwene, and doesn't have to change him from the loser that he is. I see that as basically the ideal type of change for a TV show. It improves an aspect of the book narrative in a way that works better for the show, and it doesn't really take away from a beloved part of the story. Number 2.
Something I think is going to be quite a bit more controversial than my first one, but it's something that I think the story could use. My second suggested change would be to have a major character secretly be a dark friend and have their betrayal cause major harm.
My idea? I also totally love this in general. Though Wheel of Time has plenty of characters and plenty of villains, very few of them are close to the main characters. Varen is the kind of the big betrayal people often think about, but she wasn't actually evil. She actually helps the light tremendously. Having someone important be a secret dark friend and be revealed in a shocking way would add a good element to the show. It would also throw off book readers, as we think we know what's going to happen, we think we know what's going on, and then we get blindsided. I don't want that to happen too often. It's definitely not all the time, but not being able to anticipate everything would be kind of nice. The problem comes with changing a good guy to a bad guy. No matter who is chosen, some fans are bound to be upset because they don't want that character to be evil, especially if it's one of their favorites. I think Nae'Blis choosing Bael as a suggestion is fairly uncontroversial, but Rhuarc would have been very controversial and much more shocking. Bael is almost completely unimportant in the grand scheme of the story as it's currently written. He might not even be a character in the show. One example of another character who could fit this concept pretty well, I think, is Cerealia. Much of the audience will be expecting Cadsuane to be a dark friend, as many book readers did. This has the effect of balancing one good and one bad old wise woman, and also removes some suspicion from Varen, since she spends a great deal of time around Cadsuane and Cerealia. With Cerealia being such an influential part of the Aiel, her betrayal could be shocking and really damaging to the Aiel, and to Rand, and to a lot of other parts of the story. But that's just one suggestion. Could be plenty of different characters who would be effective in this change. There's also the option of just adding a brand new character who is a secret dark friend. This has the merit of not changing existing beloved characters, but has the downside of potentially being fairly obvious what is coming. I think the strongest narrative change may be to introduce a new character who is fairly obviously a secret dark friend. However, they are located close to an existing character from the books who is a secret dark friend in the show. In this way, the new character would take any suspicion from the existing character and make that second reveal all the more shocking. Similarly, making a minor character more important in the show could be fruitful. For example, Matt's Aiel girlfriend Melindra, who is a dark friend in the books, could become more important in the show, sticking around for a few seasons maybe. I really do hope they make changes to have the Shadow be more devastating, even though that would be devastating. This leads to number 3.
In the books, once Cimaraj breaks free and fits the domination band onto Rand, she forces Rand to choke Min, and he almost kills her before finding the true power from the Dark One, and uses it to balefire Cimaraj and Elza. Now, this event is extremely traumatic to Rand, and he almost killed one of his girlfriends, and arguably the one person that had kept him somewhat sane to that point. So here's my suggestion. Rather than having Rand almost kill Min, I'd like to actually see him be forced to do it. Go through with it, knock her off.
My idea? No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No. I will be so upset if they make this change. However, that's not a reason not to do it. Well, I think it is a decent reason, since many book fans like me will be upset about the change, not shocked and awed like we were at, for example, some of the book-accurate shocking deaths in Game of Thrones, just upset, sad, and unsure about continuing the show. But I think there are some stronger reasons than that to not make this change. First off, it doesn't fit the tone of Robert Jordan's world, which at the end of the day is positive. There are awful things that happen, and beloved characters die, like Swan. But most characters make it through alive and get a fairly happy ending. This would totally change that. Second, it would make Rand's Dragonmount Zin transformation seem pretty callous, since it happens soon after. There could be some things thrown in about Rand accepting Min as a casualty of war and not his fault, but really, I would be pretty upset if a friend of mine was just over a tragic event in their life due to a renewed understanding of their purpose. It just doesn't seem to quite fit. Lastly, and I think this is the strongest point, and would require either magical elements to be changed, plot points to be ignored, or some serious magical hand-waving that isn't in the books and would actually undermine later plots, Min is bonded to Rand, which means that him killing her would literally drive Rand crazy. It just doesn't work. However, I do agree with the general premise of making the Forsaken more menacing and particularly more effective. I think there are ways that I would be less devastated and angry about, and that would also make more narrative sense. For example, what if Rand killed Tam instead of just almost killing him? Or what if when he almost kills an entire city of Shan-Shan people in the Westlands, what if he actually does wipe that city out? Or what if, as Rand is choking Min, Cadsuane comes in, and Cimarog forces Rand to kill Cadsuane? Cimarog does have a personal hatred for Cadsuane. I think this would be both effective in damaging Rand's psyche, while also being less devastating to the story, since Cadsuane's role is almost wrapped up at that point. Her only thing, really, other than that, is bringing in Tam later on, and Nynaeve or another character could do that. The only downside there is that we wouldn't get Tam calling Cadsuane a bully, which is a fantastic scene, though that could happen earlier. There could also be other ways, disconnected from Rand, since his life is already hard enough. For example, Slayer is like the most useless villain to ever villain, never accomplishing any tasks that I can think of. What if he killed Fail when Perrin was unable to stop him? Or what if Tom dies in the Tower of Genjai? That isn't really the Shadow, but it would be a shocking death in a story that's kind of devoid of major deaths, at least until near the end. I think there are plenty of ways of making the Forsaken more powerful and affect the good guys more on a personal level than they currently do in the story. I just don't think that Rand killing Min is the best way of doing that. It's definitely a hot topic that gets discussed in the Wheel of Time fandom, but I just don't think it works. I also hate it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, or on the first two changes. Leave a comment below, and I'll read them in a future video. Do you love or hate any of these changes? Do you have a change idea that you feel would be a great move? Let me know. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more Wheel of Time content. Special thanks to Nae'Blis for unknowingly inspiring this video. I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. By the way, I'm filming this before the presidential election in America, but it's going to be released afterwards, so congratulations to the people who are happy, and I'm sorry for the people who are unhappy. Keep in mind that we're all one fan base here, and we support each other, and that's how it should be. I want this fan base to stay one fan base that supports each other. So let's try to make that happen. I've got to thank my patrons as well on Patreon. They've helped me to start my channel, grow my channel, and just continue to expand it. Thanks for your support. Like a bird on a